Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 278. My name is Jason Robertson. I'm one of your co-hosts here. I'm also the owner of Outdoor Legacy. And as always, I've got my other co-host here, the man with the title that I think he gave himself, executive producer of the podcast, the Late Night Vision Show, Mr. Hans. What's going on tonight?
Well, everybody has their official title, and everybody has the title of what they think they deserve. So, I mean, why not just give yourself, if you have the ability to? You and I were kind of going over the show schedules from now until the end of the year. You were looking at flights to SHOT Show. Yes, it is. It is crazy to think that we have to start thinking about SHOT Show, but we really do. SHOT Show is the industry sports and hunting show that goes on at the end of January every year, where we, as you know, we meet with manufacturers at their booth, get to see all the new optics, usually in hand, or learn about some new stuff. But we were kind of planning out the show schedule for now and the end of the year. And the first thing you said is, wow, I can't believe you're actually taking the time to do this, because I'm probably the worst procrastinator ever when it comes to getting stuff done. Yeah. But yeah, I came up with the schedule, and man, we have a lot to talk about between now and then. I mean, a lot of shows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. Yeah, I'm looking at this schedule here. We basically have maybe 8 open episodes that are and to be honest, I say open. Actually, there's maybe 7. We already know what a few of those are going to be. He didn't put them on this list, and after that, we have all the way through February pre-planned, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately, it's nice to know what you're going to do, but it's also, it doesn't leave you any room for when, a manufacturer says, hey, surprise, we've got a new optic or something's coming out or whatever. And you're like, oh, man, what are we going to do here?
We had a couple of those last year. We kind of had to squeeze in. We're like, we got to do this review. And so I think, this is all could change depending on, like Jason said, something comes out, but we do and plan on doing interviews with manufacturer representatives. I think that was a good thing last year. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to do it the way we did last year, where it all came out on day one. I think that was, all the episodes or all the interviews came out on the same day, the first day of SHOT Show, which I think this year it starts on the 23rd, I do believe, because my wife's birthday's the 25th. That's a Thursday. So I know it starts Tuesday. So January 23rd, is when it's. So what we did last year was we did all the manufacturer interviews that went live on day one of the SHOT Show, and that was kind of cool. Being able to have everybody have these. I think it was 5 episodes or 5 shows, and people were just like, you could see the numbers going up all day of views. Okay, they'd hit this one, and then they'd go to this one, and it was kind of cool to see which manufacturers were getting the more views and all that. But that's I really like that format, but I'll tell you, it is a lot of work to get that done.
Well, let me tell you something that Hans isn't even talking about here. He's into January. I'm looking here, guys, late November, starting around Thanksgiving, and all of December and part of January is the best of series. And that's something we've been doing for several years here on the podcast. Is we end the year with the best of what we think that the best optics, our personal favorites in all the categories. It gets extremely hard every single year. It gets harder. This year, I have no idea how we're going to do it. There's way too many optics. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to continue on with this in some way. We're going to do it.
It does seem like those categories grow in number every year. It seems like we're adding shows, but yeah, you're right. You think about all the optics now. You've got 640 scopes hovering around the same price as 384 scopes. I mean,
you got some 640s cheaper than 384.
Yeah, some that are cheaper. Yeah, it's crazy. Now we've got
so many options.
We've got what we didn't have last year. We've got an iRay 1280 resolution scope that's way up there in price compared to some of the others. And so, what do you do with that one? There's just a lot of questions coming up with our best of shows, but we're going to bring it to you the best way that we possibly can, I promise you. But we do still have some reviews, Jason, that are lingering out there that we're going to get to at some point very soon. We got the Bolt iRay Bolt TL35 version 2 that we're going to be reviewing. We're finishing up with our video montage of that kind of stuff right now. We've already done the TH50. So we've already done that review. We've got some other things.
We're waiting on the Pulsar Telos to come. The
Telos,
Telos and the Telos LRF.
So what did they say on
that?
There's September? Did they
there's
say
still
September
optics out there to come.
Yeah. Did they say September on the Telos? Is that when it's projected? Kind of. Maybe
that's cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers.
Nobody wants to say
best case scenario.
Best case scenario. So we'll see. Don't know. Hey, let's jump into this show. We've got a good topic today. This is something that Hans has come up with, and I like it. It's something that we have struggled with and had to try to find the right mix of, and we know we hear it from people on the phone. So Hans, talk about what we're going to discuss today.
Yeah, this is going to be just a mash of different things, but we are talking about balancing life and work with what our passion is, and that's night hunting. And I kind of want to start out by just saying that, Jason, that your and I path into this business, in this industry, came about in a little bit different ways, and it kind of just came to a point where we joined together. But our paths into it might have been a little bit different with your background in the industry and my background in doing nothing related to this at all, but
except hunting,
but on the business side,
killing hogs every night.
The business side wasn't really into this at all. But one thing I do know, night hunting is great for people that don't like sleep, and I'll just say it is. And there's a lot of you out there. But when I first started, I'm trying to think back. So 2016 is when I got serious into producing content, producing hunts. When did you officially go into the business? What year was that? Yeah, I know it's been 10 years.
2013. Yeah,
Gosh,
2013 is when we went in.
Years.
Yeah, and 2014 is when we were. By 2014, it was not intentionally selling night vision. Thermal optics.
Yeah, and I know you've told the story before with your dad and really starting the outdoor company.
By 14, we were selling. By far, almost everything was night vision scopes. It wasn't even really thermal at that time, to be honest with you. We were selling night vision scopes. Yep.
So since then, two or 3 years before that, selling night vision scopes. I know when I came on and started doing this in 2016 is really, it's kind of when the Pulsar trail really just kind of started and hit the market.
That was 17. That's exactly right.
And that really changed the industry completely. And we've talked about that in the past. But 2016, I'm thinking back in how balancing my life with being a dad and being obviously a husband and having a career and doing something, a hobby that I was completely addicted to. And there's a lot of you that call out there and are like, man, I'm addicted. I've done it once. I'm addicted. I got to see through my first night vision scope or my first thermal scope, and I can't get enough. I'm going to tell you all that addiction is real. I know people that personally that do that. They are out working hard all day, every day, and all they can think about is going out and hunting at night. And it's a fun, addicting hobby. And the key is how do we balance that? And how did you and I balance that, especially in the beginning? Because I know when I started in 2016, it wasn't how do I get into this business? How do I start a career out of this? It was really showing there were really, looking back, there were really only a few people that were producing hunting content at that time when you and I were really just starting to do it as well, putting videos on YouTube. I remember your very first video, Jason, that I saw on YouTube was Small Hog Lives Matter. And it was just you.
That was way back.
Y'all need to go back because this is still on YouTube, y'all. You need to go to the Outdoor Legacy Gear YouTube channel and search for Small Hog Lives Matter. And that was the first introduction I got to. And I thought, it was at the time when something else was going on by a similar name. And that's kind of the play off that. And so
that was an off the
off
cuff
the cuff,
late at night
but it was
satire.
but it was
Yeah.
it was you standing by, your side by side with a hog back there, and it was not a big hog. It was a small,
No.
and it was kind of a play on a bunch of different things, and that was the entertainment of it. Was it's not always about going out and say you shot a 300-pound hog, or it's not about
Yeah.
going out and with a pile full of hogs. It's going out and taking care of your property, which you were doing, really sometimes one small hog at a time. And that was the great part of it.
I'm kind of laughing. I'm thinking about some of that video
Oh,
now.
it's
I mean,
hilarious.
it was so unplanned. It was literally just it was like, oh my gosh, I got an idea. I got to do this. And I'm cracking myself up now thinking about some of that because that was I kept a straight face through the thing too.
You did great because knowing from delivering so much information about scopes, you're a very formatted person. Your videos are formatted. Very, to do something like that off the cuff, it was funny. I mean, and
that's right.
Being able to do something like Small Hog Lives Matter. But me getting into this in 2016, it was about, and you may have heard the story. My father-in-law coming to me and saying, "Hey, hogs are tearing up all of our places. You're a young man. You need to go shoot them." So that was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And many of y'all may not know this, but my wife reminds everybody, she did buy me my very first thermal scope. And she will not let anybody forgive it because it's her way of saying that she got me started in this business. I guess she can say that. But, I had I would say a regular 9-to-5 job. I was outside salesman. I was traveling all around. I was driving all around the state of Texas. I was driving or flying to other parts of the country, usually on a monthly basis. And so it was a struggle. I would tell my normal day back then, and I'll tell you a little bit about what it is now, but I'd wake up at 6:00 in the morning. We'd get the kids ready. We'd get them out the door. Wife would take them to school. And then I was working my regular 9-to-5 job. And it was funny as during that time when you and I connected, how many times were you and I talking every day while I was, several times a day.
Several.
It was a different time, it was, what was that, 16, 17? Back in 17, the phones weren't ringing like they are now.
I thought I was busy. I had
you
no
were busy.
idea. I was
You're
not
like,
busy.
oh man, I got another call. I got to go. And then I'd call you back and we'd talk for another hour. But yeah, working that regular job, that was the thing, because I know all I wanted to do was come home, eat dinner, see the kids, and go hunt. But what's great about night hunting is a lot of it can be done after hours, and especially if you live near spots that you hunt, at close proximity. But I had access to land that was very close to me, so I could get home, feed the kids, put them to bed. That was the main thing I did, was make sure I put the kids to bed. And after that, my wife really didn't care what I did. And she wanted to be alone and relax, and I just wanted to go hunt. So, getting out every night and having access to land was a key to that, but being able to go hunt. And I would stay up, man. I would say I'd stay up. I'd go out and hunt at 9:00, and I would get home 11 or 12. And I was probably, by the time I would wind down, because it takes me a while to wind down after hunting, I was in bed 1 or 2 o'clock. And so 3 or 4 hours of sleep is basically what we were running off of for a long, long time. Now that here in the business, things a little bit have changed. I'll tell you, there's still the hunting thing, but now there's, doing the phone calls, which we're busy on all day long. And gosh, when we get into fall and winter, it's like your last phone call is at 6 o'clock usually. And you're trying to wind up, and then, getting the kids and all that. But the hunting thing is still, I realize now as I get older, I need more sleep. And you've been a bit, it's different for you though. Tell us a little bit about you, because you are like me. You can walk out your door and hunt. And this is different for people that have to drive off. But if you're driving off and hunting at a property far away, there's still that planning mode, and you're still thinking about it every night. And when you get out there, there's a lot of work during the day, usually, because people are taking care of deer leases and feeding feeders, and then at night you're staying up all night. But for you, you still don't get a lot of sleep, and you're
Yeah,
hunting, you're
I
doing the business stuff at night, and
yeah.
you're still just a night owl. I don't know how you
I
can do
get
it.
more I get more sleep than I did 3 or 4 5 years ago. I figured out that you start approaching this, 45 years
Yeah,
old, and it's different than when you're 35. It's different than when you're 40, and so I do need a little more sleep than I did in the old days. But yeah, I think for me, I've been blessed that I live here on our own farm, and I can I do 99% of my hunting here on our place, and I can see hogs from my back porch, and so that has really enabled, business wise, for me to get the content that I do, not having to go drive somewhere every single night and go out and do that. So it's been a huge blessing to be able to, if I want to go hunting, I can literally throw on my boots, grab my tripod, and take off
yeah,
walking. And there's been some times that my wife will tell you she woke up in the middle of the night, and she goes, okay, so she goes to bed, way earlier
yeah,
than me. So
yeah.
to
Well,
her, it's the middle of the night. I'm
yeah,
still awake, whether I'm hunting or not. And she's woke up. I'm not in the bed. And then she's like, where is he? Like
exactly.
no clue where I'm at.
Right.
And then, she'll hear bang, bang, wait, I was like, oh, he's out
Yeah,
killing hogs. And sometimes I've thought about that. Like, nobody knows where I'm at. I
yeah,
mean, I've chased a hog off into the brush. I've crawled through the barbed wire fence. And I'm like, there's no one in the world that knows where
right,
I'm at. This is not safe. This
right.
is not a good idea. But no, I think similar to you, I definitely, you're a big family man. I am as well. I'm going to eat supper with the kids. We're going to put them to bed. They're going to be asleep. I'm going to let, at that point, my wife, like I said, she normally goes to bed way earlier than I do. Just her schedule's different than mine. She likes to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. I am definitely a night owl. I'm not going, I say not. I mean, it's going to be pretty rare for me to be asleep before midnight on any night for any
Yeah,
reason. I mean,
exactly.
I've got to be pretty tired. I'm going to be up till late. Now, with that said, and Hans knows this, we've done a lot of hunting together, and I can just tell you that after midnight, if we ain't killed them by then, we need to go to the house,
Yeah,
because I don't, because here's my problem. The one more stand. One more set for calling coyotes. Oh, hey, let's go to this one other property. Well, it's already midnight. It's going to take 30 minutes to get there, 15 minutes to get set up. You do all this, it's 1:30, and by the time you pack up and you get back, and like Hans said, talked about winding down. That's something for me. When I get back and I unpack and I clean up and I take a shower and I do it, my mind is still racing. It's in high
oh
gear.
yeah,
I can't go to sleep for an hour. So I know if I don't get home till 2, I'm not going to be asleep at 2:15. It may be 3. And then I have this problem. This is really getting off subject, but I have this problem of like thinking about, I'm not going to get enough sleep. I'm going to be tired in the morning. Then I'm more worried and
oh
can't go to
gosh,
sleep. So,
that's
but
funny.
no, all joking aside, I've been very blessed to be able to do my hunting right here on my own property, literally walking, most of the time. Maybe I've got to get on my side by side and go back in the woods to a food plot or a log
Hmm.
set or somewhere. But most of the time, doing it right here. Again, I don't mind going to other properties, but if I do, I want a plan, and that plan involves,
He wants
I'm
a
going to
plan.
go,
He
I'm going to
wants
hunt.
guaranteed
Yeah,
success. I'm gonna tell you, there better
I
be
want
some.
guaranteed success, but I want to get home at a
Yeah,
decent hour. But because again, I am a night owl, but I got to get up in the morning because I got a business to run. I got a
yeah,
wife. I got kids. I mean, y'all do too. I mean, people that are listening. So you got to find a way to manage that. And what I would say for me is, if I wasn't able to do it right here and I was going to have to go drive a long ways. I mean, Hans, I know you do a lot of
I
driving,
did.
but
Yeah.
your
I mean,
places are really, really close though,
they
too.
were,
I mean,
most of my spots were under 15 minutes.
right.
There was a time where I had some access to some property that was about an hour away. And really, those kind of trips were weekend trips, like
Yeah.
a Friday night. Saturday night was tough just because church on Sunday.
Yep.
But those were nights, if you drive an hour, you're not getting home till 2 o'clock. I mean, if you take an hour to get there, by the time
Oh,
you
yeah.
unload, you hunt, you get back, it's 2 o'clock. And that's tough. But you're right. I mean, being able to walk out your door is one thing, but traveling and do it, even if it's 15 minutes, that takes some effort. And I was it's taken me a long time and several years to join your philosophy of guaranteed success after a certain time. But now I am fully on board. Like if I go out, I'll hunt for a couple hours, and if I'm not seeing nothing, and coyotes aren't responding, if pigs aren't really showing up, I'm like, you know what? I can get more work done at the house, but I do struggle with winding down, especially after if I have a
Hmm.
great hunt, if I shoot a coyote, if I shoot a hog, I want to take the video off. I want to start editing.
I
I want to look
know.
at the pictures, and that's where I've got to just like put it away. But it's tough because all of you out there that are addicted to night hunting, like we've been for a long time, uh, the excitement of that, it's almost like an adrenaline high, or like
Hmm.
you're getting a drop of dopamine or something where it just keeps you awake, and man, it makes those next days difficult, but your body just kind of learns to operate with little sleep, like it's done for so many years for us. Not that it's great for you, but gosh, it sure is fun though, isn't it?
Well, the one thing that I think I would say is I know not everybody has the benefit of, being able to hunt off the back porch. I get that. I think for me, um, even in those times, like there were some times here where I didn't have hogs or not many, and I was having to go to other properties or whatever. To me, that's some planning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that 5 nights in a row. It's not worth it to
Yeah,
me. I
yeah.
can't do it. I've got to get up. Like you said, it's going to take too long. So those kind of things are where I want to plan it. Hey, you know what? Thursday night. I'm going out Thursday night,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fun too. Maybe I'm not getting to hunt as much, but it's a plan. It's kind of like it's like the idea of, I'm going to the deer lease this weekend. I'm planning for it. I'm getting my gear ready. Hey, is everything charged? And to me, there's some build up and some excitement there as well. And on those nights, just like when I've come and hunted with you, sometimes we will hunt later because hey, this is an event. We're not going to do this every
Yeah.
night, but I can mentally plan for, all right, I'm not going to get near as much sleep tonight, so I need to try to go to bed an hour earlier the night before or whatever it
Right.
is. Planning for that, and I know for a lot of people that's how it's going to be. You may not get to go once a week, you may get to go once a month or every other month, and I get that, but to me that's the planning and the getting ready. A lot of times that's as much
That's
fun as anything.
much fun and as much work. So yeah, I would say the no sleep thing is just, if you're into this, that's a big part of it. But uh, there is some fun to be had at night, and we're true examples of that, where we get to do what we love to do. Now, I want to talk about really having a purpose, and kind of, I'll get into this kind of personally. I've been watching, and this is so dumb, and people are like, "Why do you watch these videos?" But for some reason, it motivates me.
Okay.
Ultra. I don't even know if I've told you this. Ultra marathon running documentaries, and it's like, I am not a ultra marathoner. I've never ran a
Oh
marathon.
my
I've never ran
gosh.
a 5K. Never ran a foot race, to tell you the truth. Um, I ran in high school. I ran track. It was the worst experience I ever had in my entire life. I ran the 800 meter. The first time I did it, I had to DNF'd, which stands for did not finish, on my first 800-meter race. You may not even know this too. I was a
I've
football
never heard
player.
this.
I was a football player. I don't know how this pertains to what we're talking about. I was a football player,
Me
and they
neither.
thought that we need to put him in track because that's going to make him faster. No, it made me hate running even more than I already did before. But the 800-meter is a funny event. It means you're not. I excused myself to all the people that ran the 800 in school. The 800-meter race is for people that are not really that fast, but they don't have enough stamina to go a mile. So they stick you in the 800 meter.
I think you just insulted 3 people that are watching
Exactly.
this.
So I was terrible. And again, I didn't know, we didn't really have a coach. So the plan was for me, run as fast as I can the whole time. Well, that was awesome for the first lap, but there's still a whole nother lap that I didn't realize that I had to finish. And I dropped out, y'all. Sadly enough, that wasn't the end of my track career. I had to continue on. They didn't let me drop track after that. But the reason why I say that, and the reason why I talk about ultra marathon running documentaries, they all talk about.
Good,
I know.
I've been trying to figure out how we got on this.
Exactly. I'm rounding this out.
I was not even sure how this happened.
Exactly. So they always talk about the why, and what's your purpose in doing what you're doing. And I can tell you from personal experience with night hunting and how it started. It didn't start, obviously it didn't start as an addiction. I didn't even start with anything that I thought that I was going to be turn into a career or a business. Really, the why was to get rid of hogs on our property. We had my in-laws own a tree farm, own several properties. Hogs obviously were rooting it up. They were here in our own property. I've got video, or had video on an old phone with my wife, with hogs in our front door, or in our front yard. She's filming through the front door window of hogs rooting up in our yard during the day. And I was out of state. I was working at my old job and couldn't do anything about it. I was telling her to go out there and shoo them away, and she was scared. But I did it. My why was to get rid of a problem. And that also turned into hunting coyotes, because there's a lot of cattle ranchers in our area. And I felt just like when I went out and hunted, and this may be the same for you because you're dealing with the problem as well. But when I'd go out and shoot some hogs, if I'd go out and shoot a coyote, it really brought purpose to what I was doing. It wasn't just doing it because I wanted to kill something. I wasn't doing it just because I liked the playing with guns or like playing with scopes, which that was part of it a little bit. But whenever I killed a coyote, especially the guys that I knew that had a bunch of cattle and whatnot, they would say, "Man, I lost this many calves to coyotes this season." But every time I shot a coyote, for every time I shot a hog, it was purpose, and I was doing it with purpose. It made me feel better about what I was doing. Hog hunting, night hunting, coyote hunting is different than big game hunting or deer hunting. There's not really a trophy hog. I guess you could say there might be a trophy hog, but nothing like a big mule deer or an elk or anything like that where you're hunting for a trophy. I mean, I think with night hunting, Jason, what it for me was doing was taking care of a problem, helping people in our area that were dealing with these massive destructive animals that were digging up hayfields and just tearing up all this pasture land that people was their livelihood. People that had in our area, the hay business was very important. So I just felt like I was doing something better for myself, my family, the community. And I still feel that way when I go out and shoot a hog or a coyote. Now there's a little bit more a different purpose. We're using content in our business of selling scopes. But having that why, other than just trophy hunting, to me was gave me a little bit more motivation. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it definitely started. It was in conjunction with the business because I was selling this stuff and I was, using this stuff and testing it. But I had, like you, at that same time frame, a crazy hog problem, and they were destroying my pastures. Something had to be done. I couldn't trap them anymore. I had trapped all that I could trap. Same kind of deal. I'm out there with a spotlight trying to kill these things. And so night vision and thermal really gave me that tool that I needed to get the hog population under control. And over the years, I felt like that's what I did. And then it's a different purpose for me now. Yes, I still have hogs. Yes, I still have the same property that needs to be protected, but because that hog population is nowhere near as big as it was 8-10 years ago, now I feel like it's almost like the deer population, and I can almost manage it.
Yeah.
There comes some point that like, okay, this sow had a big litter. She's got, 8 piglets. This is going to be a problem in 6 months, But the point is, and I know you're going, wait, why are you not shooting her? Why do you know this sow, and why is she? Because there's a different purpose for me. Is we need content. You as the viewers, the listeners, when y'all are watching our scope reviews, you want to see these scopes in action with hogs, with coyotes, with, again, sometimes it's cows, sometimes it's horses, sometimes it's whatever we can get. But people want to see that in a real world, on wild animals. And so, to me, I have a new purpose of I got to get out there and I got to get these hogs. Now, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I think that there's going to be some deer hunters that understand this. And sometimes the chase, sometimes, especially guys that bow hunt, I think they're really going to get this. Sometimes, you may not shoot something, but that you could have, and that you were 20 yards from a doe or a nice young buck. Yeah, you could have shot him. And for what your skill level is as a bow hunter, that was a chip shot. You could have done it. No question. But you were there. He didn't know you were there. It's a thrill. There's an adrenaline rush. And you didn't have to shoot him or that doe or whatever it is to feel successful. Yeah, you're hunting a great big one. Don't get me wrong. You're still hunting, but you had some success in that and you enjoyed that. That's where I'm at this point on my own property with hogs. Now, if you invite me to come to your place because these hogs are tearing my place up, let's get to blasting. Okay, you got work to do. But where I'm at, I get this enjoyment in going out there and spotting these hogs, getting as close as I can, sometimes ridiculously close, getting this video. I mean, literally, my hand is on the rifle. I could flip the safety off and shoot them. Anybody could do it. Okay, that doesn't take a huge skill level when you're that close. To me, the adrenaline rush is the getting there,
Exactly.
the getting up close.
How close
it's
you can.
how close can I get? How good can I get this video? That's what I like doing.
Yeah, the days of like making these. Well, there's a lot of people still doing it, but the days of my desire of shooting a hog at 150 yards, I have no desire to do it. I mean, to me,
None.
It's and not that it takes a sport out of it because there's skill involved in that, but it takes the fun out of it for me. I like to stalk up like you, get as close as I can. The video looks great, but the priority now that we're, obviously me being in the business, and you with, we're trying to promote and sell scopes, and at the same time showing comparative differences between models and brands and all that stuff. Now it's about getting quality content and quality video content in real world applications and in real conditions.
And there's a lot of pressure for that because y'all, I say y'all, our viewers, you want to see a review. If you're interested in this scope, you want to see it as quick as you can. And so when we get that scope in our hands, we have like a ticking bomb.
Oh, yeah.
How quick can we get quality content from the field? And that's the problem. If it's a hot scope that everybody wants to know about, then we've got to get out there and get that content as quick as we can. And so there is that pressure of, we're calling Ashley. Ashley, do you have hogs right now? Hans, do you have, who's got the most hogs? And we're trying to plan this out. And so there is pressure. And then it may not just be one scope. We may have 3 or 4 scopes at one time, and we're trying to get this footage. So anyway, I think that's a purpose that keeps us motivated. We still like to shoot hogs and coyotes. Yeah. We still have fun with that. It's still something we like to do. But I know there's some guys will say, Jason, I hadn't seen you shoot anything in forever. Well, I'm going to admit one more thing, and this is the difference in me now and me 5, 6, 7 years ago. I would shoot a hog, and if let's say I shot 2 hogs, one drops and one runs off, I know he's dead, he's dying, he runs off into the woods. I'm going to leave the hog in the field, and I'm going to go in there in the woods and I'm going to hunt for 30 minutes to find that hog. I'm going to find him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to drag him through the briars and the poison ivy and the snakes and everything. And I got to get him out there and I'm going to set him up and I'm going to go take these pictures. And I'm going to do, I mean, all this. Hans was always the great photographer and he was always teaching me tricks. Okay, set that, do this. No, he was. It was your law. Now I'm like, well, I got to drag that hog off, but yeah, I don't really think there's time for a picture. I got to go to bed.
That's the thing,
it just
man.
Doesn't mean near as much to me as it used to. It's like, let's just go on. You know?
The video is definitely more important. But anybody that hunts with me now, I don't look for hogs in woods. If I can't see it where I shot it, then I'm not going. I've done that too many times. It's not worth it for a picture as long as I got a good video. But yeah, so the why, our why has changed. Over the years, or my why has, it was a little bit of more motivation to solve a problem. But now the big motivation, now that I think that we've got in my area the hogs under control, the coyotes are, I've shot just a ton of coyotes too. A lot of that is more under control, and also now it's about getting video to share with all of y'all, the viewers and the listeners that tune into us every week for our reviews, and that's why we do it. And like Jason said, I might have places where I can get hogs at 25 yards, but I can't get any further than that. And Ashley can get far away hogs. So whatever your why is and your determination of what makes you do what you want to do, that's where you get the enjoyment and the fulfillment of being able to do this and have this hobby last for a long time. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. I was going about the last thing. I want to start this because I want to start this because I want to give Hans some credit here. No. So Hans, and you can tell this from the way he was talking, about how he got into this and his wife and his kids and his family. I'm the same way. We are both, we're family guys. We are. And I'm going to give this credit to Hans. He hunts a lot. He hunts more than anybody that I know. But he has always managed that with his family life. And now, I'm going to say this. I'm saying this, and Crystal's going to listen and go, huh, what? But I would say he's never done this at the sacrifice of his wife and kids. And she may go, maybe not never. She might think of a time. But truthfully, he's done a very, very good job of managing that. And it's something that we've both tried to do because ultimately we know what's way more important. And, your wife and taking care of her and raising your kids is way more important than going out, hunting and hanging out with the guys and doing whatever. So I think that's very, very important, is managing this balance of this is my hobby. I want to go do this, but I've also got a family at home. And so, I mean, I know that Hans and I would say family first. It's always going to be family first. But I think what is nice about this versus deer hunting versus bass fishing versus playing golf or whatever is that I can do this at a time when everybody else doesn't need my attention or want my attention, or I shouldn't be giving it to them. Because if I want to go fishing or I want to go hunting, deer hunting, that's one of the biggest things for me is man, I have deer hunted, my whole life, ate it up. And the older I've gotten, the harder it's been for me to go. Now I want to take my kids. They like it and that's fun. But for me to go sit by myself, I get out there and I just start thinking about, oh man, I need to be doing this. I could be doing this. All these other things that I need to be doing. And so I think that, and let's just face it, if you're out again, deer hunting or bass fishing or whatever it is, if it's daylight hours, that's probably time that your family is awake and you're taking some family time away. And again,
your spouse is at home looking at the watch. If you're out during the day,
exactly.
That's what I was talking about earlier. During the day,
it is.
During the day.
But at night, you don't have that worry as much. Once the kids are in bed and your wife's in there and she's either crawled up in the bed or she's watching TV or whatever she's doing, at that point, hey, you got a little bit of time that nobody's upset that you're out there.
I can remember, Jason, back working my old job, being gone for 3 or 4 days, and then driving home and being like, I'm going to hunt tonight. And my wife hadn't seen me for 3 days. My kids hadn't seen me, but you're right. You put the kids to bed, you get the things done. I think most spouses would be like, after you get all that done, I just want to go hang out and watch TV in my bed. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's what makes night hunting doable for a lot of people. You're right. Planning a deer hunting trip or something like that, when you're gone and it's hard to be gone for 2 whole days at a time. Now, there are some of you night hunters that have to plan a trip just like that, just to night hunt. And that's where, again, there's a lot of people that I know that bring their families along with them to some of these deer camps and different things, and hang out with them during the day and hunt at night, and kind of incorporate their family doing that. But nothing, and this has kind of been the running joke for many years, nothing would get me more in trouble about leaving to go hunt
I know.
more than me leaving with a full trash can. That was, if I left to go hunt and that trash can, my wife was having to pile it up like a mountain, and then it was falling off everywhere on the floor. That was where the line was drawn. So she would say, the thing, take out the trash. Take out the trash. I have to tell you 5 times, and all you want to do is go hunt. Or you left to go hunt, and the trash is full. So I've gotten, with age, my wisdom, and I feel like it's gotten a little bit better. That trash, y'all, I mean, when it gets about 3/4 full, it gets taken out. I'm probably wasting a lot of money on trash bags because that trash gets taken out very quickly. But I've learned to kind of handle my responsibilities. So there's a guy that I follow. His name's Jocko Willink, and I've read his book. And he's an ex-Navy SEAL. I guess you're never an ex-Navy SEAL. You're always a Navy SEAL. But Navy SEAL, a motivational speaker right now. But his thing is, his motivation, or what he says, his motivating phrase is, discipline equals freedom. It really makes sense now. Discipline, having the discipline to do what I needed to do, gave me the freedom to do what I wanted to do. And so that was, for me, it was making sure that trash was taken out, making sure that I volunteered to give the kids a bath or put them in bed, or made that my responsibility. Because once I took that responsibility away from my wife, that was when I got freedom. That's when, like, hey, you do what you want to do. And here's the great thing, it's not like you're asking your wife or your spouse, like, hey, I want to go hang out at the bar, or I want to go hang out with my friends at a club, right, or I want to go play pool or whatever, bowl, whatever you do. You're just like, hey, I want to go hang out in the woods by myself, or I want to go out with my buddy and hang out in the woods. Who's going to care about that? That's the thing is, it is good, honest, clean, fun with a purpose. And that's where I think I was able to get my spouse, my wife on board, my kids. Now everybody in our town knows what I do, and we talk about it in town whenever I go in. People stop me, and my kids' teachers ask about the videos, and they see the videos, and my kids just they get known, I guess, because of some of the videos that I'm putting out. So they've gotten behind it. Now it's like they're 100% on board. Like, oh yeah, he hunts and he does this and he sells scopes, and you need to call him if you're looking for a scope. They're like our little mini salespeople out there in the community.
We need some sales ladies. That's right.
I don't want to say that I've got it all figured out. And there are times when my wife wants to beat me in the head, and that probably happens a few times.
Understandably so.
That probably happens a few times a week. But the thing I have written on my list is take out the trash. And that is a euphemism for a lot of different things, of taking care of what you need to do. And now, y'all, a lot of that responsibility lies with creating our content, editing our shows, that not leaving stuff on the back burner till the last minute to get that done so I can go hunt. It's like, hey, if I get it done now, I'll have more time to hunt. And that's where I think that I feel like I may have gotten a little bit better. I do hunt quite a bit, but a lot of that hunting is not just pulling a trigger. Hunting now is again creating video content for all of you out there to be able to get a good idea of a scope that you might be interested in, or a scope that might be good for you. And that's where I think the fun is still there, even though, again, it's not always about pulling the trigger. Even though we are still trying to shoot hogs, and I've got a group of hogs that I've contained that are on a property, here by the house, that aren't causing any problems. I'm keeping them under control. I'm shooting what I need to shoot, but I keep some, that I can video for a little bit, and then if they get out of line, I'll take care of it. But it's almost like I've got my own pet hogs here at the house sometimes. But coyotes, we're still getting after them pretty hard. Love shooting. We can get into that in another week. We're short on time, but coyotes have really turned into my passion of hunting, and just because of the difficulty of it. Not that hog hunting's easy, but love the challenge of coyote hunting. But with all that said, we're going to wrap it up now, y'all. This has kind of been a fun show. Kind of talking about our start in the business, our day-to-day activities, what we do to be able to do what we want to do, and having the discipline of what we need to do to be able to get to do what we want to do. That's a lot to say. That's kind of
I'm confused. I think let
me try that again. Doing what we need to do to be able to do what we want to do. How about that? Is that better?
Okay. Taking care of business. Yeah. Take care of your job. Take care of your wife. Night hunting is kids, great. Then go play.
Night hunting is definitely for you if you don't care about sleep, and you spend a lot of money, and the only reward that you get is knowing that you've helped out a farmer or a rancher. And that's sometimes you don't get a big trophy on the wall. You might get behind my shoulder, there's a Euro mount of a hog head. That's pretty much the only trophies that we get around here, Jason. I do got a belt buckle from winning a coyote hunting tournament too, a couple of years ago. So you get that too.
There you go.
But hey, this has been a good show for us. This is fun. If you are looking to purchase a night vision or thermal optic, we would love to sell you one. Let me tell you, because all of the work that we do, all the hours that Jason and I and Ashley put out videoing and trying to get all this comparative video, really makes it worth it when we can help a customer decide on the right optic for them. Give us a call, 877-350-1818. Yes, you can talk to any one of us. We're here to help you. We're here to help you put you in the right scope and make the right decision, an educated decision. Jason, we talk about it all the time, there are deals to be had out there. There are new scopes on sale. As we speak, there are new scopes on sale. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are settling for the wrong scope because of the price.
Yep.
And so that's where it's hard not to get caught up in the hype that you see online or on the internet, or, man, this deal's going on, or this, you got to get it. You got to do it now. Deals are great, but not at the expense of the scope that's right for you. So the only way to know that you're making a right decision and not throwing several $1,000s at a discounted scope when the right scope for you is maybe even close to the same price,
or even cheaper. I don't want to get into it, but we've seen guys, spending too much money to buy a 640 scope on sale when they should have bought a less expensive 384 scope that would have done them better. But you just cannot. You just can't convince this. So anyway, Hans is right. Don't get caught up in that.
And yes, discounts are great. Sales, manufacturer sales are great. And if that's the right scope for you, we're going to absolutely recommend it, but we are not going to recommend the wrong scope. I'll tell you that. So 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacygear.com. Find all of our past episodes on the latenightvision.show.com. Again, we've got a lot of reviews coming up. We've got a lot more content regarding our best of series with our best choices for optics for this year. We've got SHOT Show stuff coming up. We've got interviews. We've got a lot to come. And we're going to still be doing our reviews. Like I said, we've got the Bolt TL35 V2 coming up at some point very soon. We'll have some other few reviews stuck in there along the way. You can find Ashley, our salesman, on all the social media platforms, Rowe ETX, ROWE_ETX, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find Jason, Outdoor Legacy Gear, on YouTube, on Facebook, Outdoor Legacy, on Instagram, Outdoor Legacy Gear. And you can find me over on Instagram and on Facebook, Hans ETX, that's HANS ETX, and on YouTube, Hans ETX. We're going to continue to put out reviews, short form reviews over there. Trying to work on even shorter reviews because my reviews have gotten a little bit wordy and a little bit long. So join me over there as I continue on that journey of formatting the correct length of review videos. Jason.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you found entertaining. I don't know that it was. It's not educational. wasn't really
It
supposed
was
to be,
not.
but maybe.
No.
No, not at all. But hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will be back. Hans and I've taken a few weeks off from the reviews. Well, like I said, we've got scopes that need to be reviewed, things that we've had for a while that need to be reviewed. But we know that sometimes y'all get tired of the reviews and sometimes we get tired of the reviews, the monotony of that. So we wanted to take a few weeks to do some different stuff. And but we will be back very soon with more reviews. And like Hans talked about earlier in the show, we got the whole fall and part of the winter all planned out. So there's a lot of good shows coming. And we hope that y'all will stick with us for all those, and you'll find some enjoyment and maybe learn something in along the way there. So, guys, between now and next week, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.